I just had no idea how right Dave Dixon was about making our room smaller, because there's never any general public.
Yeah, I know. We could have it in his office.
Oh, man. I hate that.
When I went by there.
Okay, calling to order. Is it rolling?
Yes.
Calling to order the Tuesday, November, my glasses, without my glasses, November 10, 2015 meeting of the Coastside County Water District. Joanne, roll call, please.
Sure. Director Coverdell?
Present.
Vice President Glassberg?
Here.
Director Reynolds?
Here.
Director Flint?
Here.
President Michelson?
Here, thank you. All rise for a pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Yeah, public comments, seeing none. Boy, we can. I tell you, when I saw this packet, there wasn't much here, so we're right into consent.
I got like 4 items I'd like to pull tonight.
Yeah.
Sorry. I just had to throw that out.
Barring that, we can get in and out of here.
Move to approve the consent calendar.
second it.
Okay, it's.
And do you want to mention?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, I
reviewed the claims and everything was fine.
So we have a move and a second. Movement just sounds kind of. Sounds awkward.
Later.
So we should have fun, I guess, so.
Would you like?
Cheer on, please.
Yes. Director Coverdell?
I'll move it forward.
Vice President Glassberg?
Aye.
Director Reynolds?
Careful deliberation, I'm gonna vote yes.
Director Flint?
Yes.
President Michelson?
Yes, thank you
Gentlemen.
very much. Then moving to meetings attended, director comments. We didn't have, there's,
About the recycle.
Well, we had the meeting on recycled water, so I don't know if that's adequate, if you
That
you'd
was a
like
public meeting though, right?
Special meeting.
Yeah.
That was a
but-
public
Yeah,
meeting.
but would you like a report on that recycle water committee meeting, or
yeah, there was.
was that adequate?
Well, there was no camera.
Right.
So if you could give us a quick synopsis.
I can. So the Recycle Water Committee meeting was great. It looked like there was an extensive agenda. It was quickly cut through, and they jumped ahead to Coastside County Water District. And in our report, Dave Dixon led the charge, and he actually backtracked all the way through the beginning of the agenda, all the way through to E, which was our report. What happened in the meeting was we presented, thanks to Mary's fine work and Dave's fine work, some preliminary budgeting on what it looked like it could cost to do the recycle water project. And unfortunately, the project looks like, this sort of idea of $4 million is not anywhere near what's going to be required to do the project. And it looks like even if we were to double that and look at 8 million, that may not be adequate to fund the recycle water project. And the biggest reason for that is the water treatment facility on Sam's property. I guess they claim that they've had, pricing $2 to $4 million, kind of in that range for what might be required in that facility. But what no one really has accounted for are all the other things that have to happen, like the operator, the maintenance, the chemistry that would be involved in that, the ongoing replacement of the microfiltration membrane. It looks like the treatment is going to have to be RO as well, reverse osmosis, which is quite expensive to operate, which adds to the cost. And then, of course, we've got the Kehoe ditch, which some people feel is the Kehoe Creek, very controversial, and we're going to have to somehow get under or over this creek to get to the location where the connection would be to Ocean Colony Partners. And then it also looks like there might have to be balancing tanks because the flow of the effluent will be not necessarily in line with the need for the water at the golf course. In addition to that, there has to be a whole bunch of water protection devices, sort of like giant, would you call them double check valves or something, that would isolate the water qualities, because the wells are still going to be there and not, they could be operated. And so there's really a lot of equipment that has to occur. Well, the issue is that it doesn't look like the price that the only customer we have currently is willing to pay could possibly cover all these expenses. In fact, it looks like we only have about half of the money that we might need on a monthly basis. So we had a special meeting here in the district office, and I don't think it was recorded, and so I don't think there are records of it, but so we discussed in detail with members of SAM and members of Montero Water and Sanitary, with, it was a well-represented meeting by all parties involved, discussing these realities and these potential costs and trying to look at what we might do. The message from CCWD to all of the other players was just, please don't write checks, assuming that we're going to, reimburse those expenses until we get a lot further along in terms of, I think we agreed kind of on a financial plan is what we would really like to see is how the monies might work out. And prior to doing a lot of design that may not be able to be utilized because we just simply can't afford it. So I think there was some disappointment in the meeting, and I think there were some people who were kind of ready to proceed on design and really moving ahead. But I think that we have to be very cautious because it will be and could be an extremely expensive process. And so I think the biggest item for us is to see if we can find some other customers, find ways to get other end users to help us offset the cost of the recycled water. And I, for one, just hope we, come up magically with however many $1 million it is, because I think it's absolutely the right thing to do.
Would if we got additional customers, wouldn't that increase the cost in order to be able to get the water to them directly?
It depends. What we're hoping for is there are some nurseries that are down kind of close to Ocean Colony. And it might be possible to figure out some piping
Branch lines.
strategies. I don't think any of it would be cheap, and it would certainly cost more. But, if people were willing to buy in at pretty high, at reasonable rates for us, then that's what's going to, enable us to do it. It looks like the recycled water would cost about 73, was that in the 70s, % of what our treated water costs.
Yeah.
I thought it was
It
80.
Yeah, it really depends on what, we have we really don't have any real costs. I mean, we only have what, our analysis was based on a study from 2010 with Pasatiempo that never happened. And so, one of the questions is really how much, what would the cost estimate really be? But it is looking at a combination of, many factors, including, putting in pipe if we wanted to service other customers.
Well, the other question I have too is can SAM produce enough recycled water to service the golf course and additional?
Oh, it's huge what they can produce.
So they've got the capacity.
Yeah, a lot more than actually what the golf course would need. In fact,
Okay.
that's what the golf course is built around holding ponds. Do you know about that?
Mhm.
And so that's one of the real advantages, is they're one of the few customers that could kind of hold it, blend it, or whatever they needed to do. And so that's a real asset. But I think there are a number of other people. It's just, the problem is the cost is so close to fresh. And fresh is easy because we got all the infrastructure kind of sitting there, so.
Interesting.
It's very complex.
And more to come. Thank you very much.
Sorry to be so long.
No, I appreciate it because I'm sorry I missed the meeting.
Any
Yeah,
other
we were mad.
Any other directors have any comments? If not, we move forward to Joe's report. And there's a couple things that I find of interest. So Joe, please.
The big thing was that the Denniston Filter Surface Wash repair project is complete. It was finished today, as a matter of fact. So we're getting the plant ready to start up probably, hopefully within this next month. hopefully we'll have it started in November. It depends on the irrigation patterns and of course, the water flow down the creek. So that's good news. You know, this isn't a major thing, this caustic feed system, but I don't know, being a treatment guy, I kind of hold it in kind of high esteem. It's the ability to treat this very soft water without getting aluminum residuals in the finished water, which the state health department really frowns upon. It's not illegal or anything like that, but it's not optimal. So now we're able to do that. The first results we've gotten in since we've completed this project are very, very promising. So that's kind of a nice accomplishment. The only other thing of significance that I could report is the Washington Ventura Street main replacement project. As you know, this was a CIP project that was slated for, I think, 2018, but we moved it up because the city is finally getting around to resurfacing these streets, Ventura Street and Washington Street over in the Miramar area. And we had a small setback from PG&E. They were a little bit nervous. They had some buried high voltage lines in the neighborhood there. And so we had to do a safety assessment of it, and that delayed us until, well, that happened last week. And now we got our safety together. It's safe to go underneath those cables. But now the city has postponed their servicing project until the spring. And they had kind of an unreasonable request of me today, and I told them no. They asked me to pave it over our section once we get our thing done, so that they can go in there in the spring and tear it back up at a big expense. And the street's kind of cruddy anyway at this moment. So I told them, well, we'll watch it. We'll put soft patch on there. We'll watch it through the rains, and we'll make sure there's no sediment or anything that escaped from there. And I have yet to hear back from them. So that's my report. Anything else in here, I'd be glad to.
What does Denison look like right now with these couple of rains?
Well, probably about 1,000 gallons per minute, I believe.
So that's low,
Well,
right?
no, it's less than that, because our weir that we use to measure that is not calibrated correctly, so it's reading high. So I'm going to give you an estimated guess of between 600 and 1,000 gallons per minute.
And
600 and 1,000.
What are we hoping it's going to flow at?
Oh, it inundates the weir. It'll be thousands of gallons per minute once it gets cooking good. And then, the irrigation will stop and all the water will be off. So. And the turbidities, we've been monitoring the turbidities. We haven't seen them that high. Today, I think it was at 29, which before we had these improvements, we wouldn't have been able to take it, but we could take it now. We could take it up to 50.
So are you drawing water, treating water?
Not right this second, no.
Yeah, when will that begin?
This month.
Great.
Yeah, they're getting the plant readied, and we're coordinating with Dave Leah, the farmer, for when he stopped. We want to make sure that when we start, we could sustain the production without having to stop in 2 days because, the water's gone or whatever.
Good. Yeah, if we get consistent rains, maybe we could really test that plant. I look forward to that. Good, thank you. Any other, directors have any other questions on any of the?
I had one more if I can.
Yeah, no, please.
There was one part of your report, I think, talking about a steel plate or something, and then
Yeah.
it blew past. Was that at Denniston also?
Yeah, that was at the Denniston. If you recall, we call it the elevator shaft. There's a shaft, it's about a 20-foot shaft, that used to run some gate valves, some ancient gate valves at various levels. And they used to actually drain that reservoir every year. Well, this hasn't happened for decades. And all the infrastructure for this ancient gate system, these valve systems are gone. And the portals that were used, they're about 3 by 4 feet portals. have been boarded up with redwood. And they both leak a little bit. The bottom one doesn't leak that much, but it's probably inundated under 5 feet of mud. So that kind of seals it. The upper one started to leak pretty badly, and we were worried that, you know, it could fail. And if it would fail, that would be catastrophic. We would be out of business there until we get it fixed, and the farmer would definitely be out of business, and he would probably sustain collateral damage. So we put these plates over it, and it's not a permanent fix. It's just there to prevent a catastrophic failure of the redwood boards. You know, down the line, when the funding is available, this is not, you know, super high priority at this point, we'll probably put another valve on there and get another operating system on there so that we could actually, it'd be an easy way to drain the reservoir. But right now, we just have a plate over that that is set in place, and if the boards fail, we're okay.
Great. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Looks like that concludes your report. Thank you very much, Kathleen. We're gonna go to your water resources report, and good news, because it's raining.
Yeah, that's very good news, yeah. But, so, in my report, the State Water Resources Control Board and DWR are tracking failed domestic wells now. So, and they've actually have it up on their website. So this is something new that they're trying to account for across the state. So San Mateo County was listed, and they reported 2 outages. So the only time they get this information is if people volunteer it. So it's not, you know, so these are people who reported that their domestic well, or water, I should say, it includes surface water supplies also, have failed, and they can't get water from it anymore. But there are probably, and it doesn't include ag wells or something like that. So it's possible there's more wells out there that have failed that just hasn't been reported. But it is something new that the state is trying to track now through the Office of Emergency Services and do some verification.
Do we know where those are?
No, they don't give out any information.
So we don't know if it's in our district or?
No, they have no idea. And then another issue that water agencies have been following is that the state finally did take action against some water suppliers for failing to meet their conservation standards.
Wow.
So they did fine them the 500 per day penalty. There were no cease and desist orders, but they did give them a monetary penalty. Wow. So that was a first that I know of. They have done cease and desist orders against private water rights holders who haven't met requirements or violated something, but this is, I think, the first time they've gone after water agencies, urban water suppliers. And that's it, unless anyone has any questions.
Do you know where we are statewide in the conservation, trying to hit that 25%?
Yes, we have, the
think we
state
have,
has
yeah.
met it. It's, I think the last they reported was around 27%.
Yeah, that's what I read. Yeah, we exceeded. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, so now in the winter time, as it's going to be a little harder to make that goal, but we'll try.
Yeah. Good job, water districts. Thanks.
Well, don't we need the assistant general manager's report?
Oh, is there an assistant
On the
general manager?
agenda.
Yeah, I know.
Not on the agenda.
Pretty light agenda.
Seems like in the absence of the general manager, we'd probably want to hear from the assistant how it's going.
Are we allowed to put a Christmas party on the agenda?
You know, that got nixed by a certain
Yeah, you can't take action on anything that's not on the
I'm
agenda.
going to talk to Dave.
You can agendize it, though.
No, as president, I'll talk to Dave about it. I would, there's no action, but yeah, it's a long time overdue and something.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, I've been, you know, so I wouldn't mind kind of
Perfect.
bringing it back in a limited way, and I'll keep everyone posted and without violating the Brown Act.
Yes.
We could do a Dutch treat. Well, you don't say Dutch treat anymore. We could do pay your own way if we need to.
That's up to
That
someone.
was the issue, was public funds.
Oh.
We
Well,
can't discuss it.
understand.
I don't know if it really, I think it's more the booze, you know, if you have open bar, and I think that's the bigger liability.
You don't drink?
All right, this is where Pat.
No, if our employees were to leave.
I take it this is under director agenda items,
Yeah.
possibly
That's
a future agenda item, correct?
Well,
Is that
it's-
the context of
And I guess
this?
I do have one thing, if we want to change the subject.
Good
No,
start, Larry.
but we, on Thursday, we, Dave, Kathleen, and I attended the Bosca Technology Forum, and the afternoon was was spent going through 5 case studies on largely AMI metering, and there's a lot of good info that we'll be sharing along the way, but it's, you know, I think that, you know, this is, you know, the technology that people are going to, and we are, you know, looking at our meters. We have, today I found that we have one meter that is over 60 years old.
Wow. Those mechanical meters go a long
Yeah,
time.
so, anyway,
You
so.
don't need to change the batteries in them.
And you don't need new technology to read them either.
That's right. All right, very good, thank you.
Thank you very much. So I had the request, any more requests, otherwise we're going to go to adjournment.
This has got to be a record.
Okay, well, you know, I could be president for life, and I can promise many more of these. With that, we're adjourned.